30-day.
Well, hello everybody. We're going to get in today's residential school genocide story day 27-28, as well as we're going to talk about absolutely current events. I was going to do two different states today that I was going to do yesterday. Maybe sometimes things happen for a reason. I pulled France today as the left media in the United States of America tries to narrate a story saying that France is likely to sponsor USA's resolution coming up very shortly, folks, that France will sponsor USA. I have two stories right from Residential School Genocide, from the box of colonialism, to tell you why France will not support USA. USA is going to find out UK won't either. And today, in relevance and real news for all First Peoples, all Africans, you're going to learn the truth. A truth I had to go through Zoom. I had to go to the Communist Party of China, and absolutely 3 UN states of East and into southern Africa, southeastern Africa. 3 states whose greatest legal minds and representatives shared with me a precious, precious 10,000-page report on the history of the Swahili coast, all the islands in question, all the way to China, more than 1,000 years before colonialism, where Africans made money, made use of their islands in trade. 2 of these islands today held by France, which used its mighty P5 veto power just a few years ago, not very many years ago in my lifetime, squashed all nations of the world from releasing their stranglehold over 2 Swahili major epicenters, Marioti and Reunion Island, folks. Marioti is even a sadder story. Absolutely full of slavery, right all the way through to the history of the Third Republic, Third Reich of Germany. I can't make it up. Can't make it up. You see, France wanted to control India, Africa, as well as Britain and the rest. They battled for trade dominance and slavery dominance. That's a fact. While those years have come and gone and there was the abolishment of slavery, France refuses to return those islands through colonialism, absolutely settler relocation, absolutely displacement of the African population. In fact, as it stands today, folks, 63% of the African population of those islands is in poverty. Nowhere near what France as a country is today. We talk about Putin. The world focuses on Putin. We have Linda Thomas Greenfield, UNSC P5 Rep USA, says, we are ready to present an end to the veto, absolutely crippling the United States of America forevermore in presidency, any president sitting ever being able to practice Unitarianism, colonial economic strategies, military intervention without the rest of the world voting it okay. That's what Linda brings forward. She thinks France is going to capitulate, but I hate to tell everybody this. Swahili coast, those beautiful islands, the largest source of newlyweds from around the world, massive, massive travel for rich folks to go at the absolute expense of all the African citizens. You'll see that people live terribly there, terribly and harshly, while France enjoys all the beautiful multi-million-dollar, $100 million yachts, escape getaways, as rich, wealthy people from all over the world go to holiday destination. Something they took and refused the UN Charter of 1945, refused the 60s decolonization resolution passed unanimously. France decided, hey, you know what, USA and Linda Thomas Greenfield? Fuck you. Fuck all the Indians and fuck all the blacks from Africa. You can clearly look on the map. You can see just how close that island is to Africa. It's a stone throw. It has no business inside the European Union as it's way down south. We're talking Madagascar south, all the way on the southeast side of Africa, a staple of African trade many millennia ago, long before colonials, long before a world bent on slaving destroying and dehumanizing peoples. China didn't do that. China has an excellent paper. I'm probably the first Westerner to receive that from the Communist Party, backed up by 3 countries of Africa who are not communist. They speak excellent English. I've met them all, and I'm fortunate that the Pan-African, the Union of Africa, I probably have the most accredited legal experts from Africa. In large majority, too. Africa's been nothing but fruitful for me, just like the United States of America. Good folks from many, many different beliefs, values, cultures. No two are the same. 52 nations of Africa, folks. And when you look at those 3 countries with a 2,000-year history and what the colonials have done to them, as they've traded off in slavery with the French, the British, even Germany got in there during the Nazi high times. They've seen it all. Portuguese, Spain, they've had it all. Absolutely first, the Portuguese. They've even had the Indian sultans come through, do their devastation and piracy. The African people have been devastated there. Anyone looking at Africa, the continent of Africa, specifically the 3 UN states along that coast, the former Swahili coast trade routes, can clearly see those islands belong to those people. And anyone laying claim to them and accusing Russia of its hypocrisy or its basic colonization is what they're claiming now, even though that doesn't fit the narrative. You want to see wealthy yachts, wealthy folks? Go check out the devastated 2 islands, Mariotti and absolutely Reunion Island. Histories are sad, and we have France, who promised decolonization. Your ancestors, a lot of Canadian Indians' ancestors who fought in World War II, you fought to free France. Now USA says, oh, they're going to sponsor our resolution. I'm sorry, United States of America. France will not be sponsoring your resolution. As seen in history, clear history of Mariotti and Reunion Island. Reunion Island doesn't sound African at all, even though its history is 2,000 years old. That's what happens when people go back on their word. People gave their lives to free France from German occupation, and France refused to repatriate the same for those African islands. Too beautiful, too much of a shining jewel. Do you know how much wealth has gone through those islands in 2,000 years? The wealthiest islands. And of course, France holds them. Look at the white sandy beaches, the best coral expeditions you can ever see in the world, diving, the rest of it. A lover's safe haven getaway at the absolute expense of the African peoples of those 3 UN states, who clearly have 1,000-year history beyond the colonials. And where are they today? 63% in poverty, 34% unemployment rate. There is no future for the African of those 2 islands. None whatsoever. This is repeated historically. This is verifiable. This is credible. This is the truth that I am glad Linda Thomas Greenfield brings up. But with the Russian veto because of Ukraine, I guarantee you if Russia abstained, France and Britain would veto. I know Russia won't, and the world's going to turn and say, oh, look, Putin's a dictator. He's trying to restore a 70% Russian-speaking majority to absolute regionalism that Ukraine was allowed to give and maintain federal control over. They just had to give regionalism as they promised. They wouldn't do it. In fact, they abused, and we watched just as many people that are fleeing Ukraine now in the last 40 days is what happened in 8 years for the Russian-speaking majority inside Ukraine, at least all those in the eastern Ukraine. There's two sides to a story. I typically like to go with the majority, not the minority. I typically go and look at things. Maybe it's because I'm an Albertan and I've learned exactly how bad corruption and wealth transfer and abuse of those deemed lower human beings. Nothing like the First Peoples, but then again, Alberta is all ceded. It is all treaty Indian. It's for the taking by colonial powers, the same kind of colonial powers against Russia and Ukraine today. Same kind of colonial powers that occupy islands that were to be decolonized and the people were to be freed. France says, no, we've set up our own system here and we're not going to let it go. In fact, we vetoed the UN. Fuck Africa, okay? Hey, we're the European Union. We run it now. It's nowhere near the borders, nowhere near the cultural influence of Africa, nowhere near, not even in the hemisphere. It's insane. It's insane. And any folks talking about Russia or talking about Canadian Indian peoples, the first peoples, Métis and Inuit as well, and you talk about, oh, they just got to get on with their life. I beg to differ. Just like the Africans in the Swahili coastline with a 2,000-year history, absolutely oppressed by France today. And in fact, my ancestors gave their lives to free France, and France chose not to free those people in those two countries. That's their Ukraine. Their Ukraine. They'll decide in a minority over that filthy majority. That's okay. Hey, you know what? We should never look at the world as it is. We should pretend it's something that it's not. That way we can justify genocide forever and a day, and we can keep the world going. Folks, day 26, day 27, story 26, 27. Credible, verifiable. You can all look it up. Go with the multiple sources. Go and read it. I would love to share that powerful research paper listing all the Chinese and all the African and all the East Indian, Southeast Indian history of the Swahili trade with China. In all the ruler periods of that imperial time, China has 5,000 years of history. That was explosive. That was something just so beautiful for me. As out west, you don't get any of that history nowhere to be found. And the Chinese Communist Party, one of their academics, took the time out to write a detailed 10,000 word paper just on my little old 200 words in a paper about the nature of international law as it really is. That's the truth, folks. Couldn't make this up if my life depended on it. And maybe at some point it's going to. More to come, more explosive truths of the world and the lies we see around us. Now, I'm really excited about Linda Thomas Greenfield today. I am. But what are the motives? And is it all just popcorn for theater? Is it all never going to materialize because she knows she can count on Russia vetoing? And even if Russia seemingly abstained, guaranteed UK and France will. France already did. They already vetoed this resolution. The media doesn't tell you that, but you will find it. You will find it. It's there. France vetoed the entire world post-1975 over removing the veto power because they will not give up their colonial jewels. They don't like blacks. They don't like reds. They don't like anything not white. They're colonial. They're a divine system. And they still hold on to it today, even though so many of your ancestors, mine are gone now. I don't have any World War II family members left alive today. They gave their lives, their sacrifices, absolutely to free France. And when France made the promise, they promised right in Canada, they promised. They were occupied by Germany through UK. We promise. And then it was time to do the right thing because we gave our lives to free them. They didn't do it. And then they used their power to veto it. Linda Thomas Greenfield is an African American woman. Are you going to straighten out the left media, or are you not who you say you are? Do you love your people? Because I promise you, this truth I give today is for everybody. It's for all world citizens. That's what I do. The right thing, the truth. You're an African American lady. Will you reciprocate this truth now that you absolutely know it? Because I will be sharing it on your social media on Twitter. Thanks, everybody. Share. Get it out there. People need to know. People need to know. Colonialism must be stopped. If we all allow it to continue, well, I can tell you for Canada's sake, the citizens of Canada, all the First Peoples, will lose everything. If you don't believe me, you should watch the last 26 videos I have done for all of you. It's crazy, and it's true. That's the sad part. You'll never get this education anywhere in Canada, ever. Not out west. Thanks. Bye now.